Hi, I'm Dan Henderson, and I would like to take a look at one of my favourite Apple II graphics modes, which is Super High Res 320x200. Interestingly, all the slides in my presentation are in that very same mode, and are streamed and captured from my Apple IIgs computer. I have to thank Antoine Vigneault for writing the slideshow programme. Not to be discriminatory, other graphic modes are available, but in my opinion, this mode encompasses all that is great about the 2GS. There are two super high-res modes native to the 2GS. One is crap and the other is this one. 16 colours are available on screen from an available palette of 4096 colours. There is no colour fringing or artifacts stuff happening here, which was the scourge of earlier Apple II native high-res modes, and there is enough screen area to be able to display fantastic images, unlike the historical low-res modes. It is also possible to import graphics from other platforms, as we will see. Several paint programs are available for creating images in 320x200, such as Paintworks Plus, Deluxe Paint 2, and my favourite 816 Paint. Here is a list of some of the good ones. Maybe you have a favourite amongst them. Because the 2GS platform was perfect for art packages, there really are some great ones available. And I spent a whole weekend when I could have been arguing with my wife to bring you these two hand-drawn pictures. As you can see, I've heavily used the airbrush tool after I saw some amazing pixel art images online and faithfully copied them over to the 2GS, remembering to compensate for the 16 colours available. I absolutely love drawing fantasy art, and I will continue to do so as long as I have my elf. This next image is taken from my favourite Apple IIgs adventure game, Dream Zone. I've searched through many 2GS archives for a better example of native 2GS art, but this is simply the best. All credit to Mr. Jason Rubin. The 80s comic punk vibe in this picture makes me smile every time I see it. Dream Zone features all these characters, but the mural wall at the end of the game is a complete work of art. Whilst there are a lot of great native drawings and art for Super High Res 320x200, we can learn from an extensive library of similar formats from other platforms. We can convert images using a fantastic program called Super Convert. We can look for the following: Amiga, Atari ST, Commodore 64, boo, Macintosh, meh, IBM PC compatible, Unix or computer independent. You need to check the list of possible file types for each format in the Super Convert menu, and then search for files and use cider press to insert them onto a disk. You can change the file types and attributes if needed. Some tips. Try to get graphic files with a resolution as near to 320x200 as possible for the best results. Use a graphics editor on a modern PC or Mac to scale the image, again for the best results, but also for speed of conversion on the 2GS side. Make sure your 2GS has 4 megs of RAM and acceleration for the best results, as Super Convert uses a lot of memory. It is also worth noting that it sometimes leaves your system in a less than stable state, Think of a Sinclair ZX81 attempting to access the internet and you'll get the idea. The following images are converted from the Commodore Amiga, which actually passes over quite nicely to the 2GS, as the graphics mode is very similar. This is the load screen from an art program. This one is from an adventure game. And here we have the classic Amiga ball destroying a motherboard, whilst the devil laughs from afar. Ha ha ha. The following images are converted from the Atari ST. Again, very similar to 320 by 200 super high res, and you can easily achieve great results. A nice tranquil scene here. And this one is from a game, not sure which one. Actually reminds me of a nightclub I once went to in London. It took me a while to realise that Lady Liberty is holding a keyboard in this one. And this is one of my favourite conversions. So these next images have been saved from the Commodore 64, including this picture of the said offending article. They were slightly more difficult to convert, but certainly not impossible. As an 8-bit machine, the detail is not fantastic, but here we go. Looks like a great scene from an adventure game, this one. Escape from Commodore Land. Now this really is great. I had to resize this to get it onto 320 by 200, but what an amazing picture. As it says, this one was drawn with a koala pad. You have to remember this was back in the early 80s, so they certainly don't use koalas for drawing anymore. It's cruel and unnecessary, especially when you consider there's so many kangaroos available. The following images are converted from classic Macintosh. I had help with this from Ron McAdams of Ron's Computer Videos, who I've actually managed to miniaturise, as you can see. The images were a lot larger than the super high-res screen, so I had to use sections and I had to do some editing on the 2GS side. Here we go. This is actually two different images from the artist Susan Kerr, but I have made them into one masterpiece which I've decided to call Fish Trainer. Another classic from Susan Kerr, woodblock, or as we have here, a double woodblock, for when one woodblock just isn't enough. The following images are converted from post Windows IBM PC compatibles. Again, easy to find, but necessary to scale, as they are usually absolutely massive compared to what we need. This one happened to be just the right size and the right colour range, so it turned out really well. This one was massively cut down to size. The original is about 8 times as large. The quality of this image is simply quackers. Thank you so much everyone for watching. I hope it's been as much fun for you to watch as it has been for me to make. Have a lovely Kansas Fest. Apple II forever!